There's nothing for you here, Wanderer. The doors are closed. And if I couldn't open them, you won't either. Taranis of the Thoid tribe, Dalriata. And you? Likewise. Great minds think alike, and apparently they're drawn to the same places. If you're set on going further, you'll need every bit of life force you have. A curse for killing a member of the Thoid tribe could take half of it. I thought that since you're here, you'd know what lies behind these stone doors. Many have tried. I thought I was worthy, but I keep failing. I've been camped here for 3 moons. There's no life for me outside this cave. If I can't get through, this is where my story ends. This is my destiny, one I chose for myself. I'll either get through or die trying. But my strength is fading. This isn't how I wanted it to end. It is death and magic. It draws its power from the ancient mist. Of those who went hunting for it, only a scant few ever returned to their tribes. Look for the mist, and in the mist for antlers and an evil eye. They say its feet don't touch the ground, though those are the words of the madman who somehow survived an encounter with it. We call them the Mistbearers. Everyone from Thoid wants to face one of those wraiths, and I'd love to get my hands on one of their corpses. Those are priceless and can be used for strong magic. If you manage to slay the Mistbearer, I'll pay you in gold for everything you bring back. At least I'll get something out of this pointless mission. Then maybe I'll invite you to further collaboration. Return alive and you'll find out. Good luck, Wanderer. May fate be kinder to you than it has been to me. You did it. Impressed. I wish I'd been the one to face the Mistbearer, but I bow to the one who managed to slay it. Excellent. And here's your reward. Yes, I did. With your courage, you've proven yourself a worthy candidate for the ranks of the Alchemists Guild. And to be honest, it's been a long time since I've felt this confident about a new guild member. So, if you're interested, I might have a few assignments for you. What do you say? We seek the spark of life, the primal force that makes existence possible. We believe it holds the key to surviving the inevitable horrors that have already begun. There aren't many of us left, and our ranks remain hidden. You'll meet the others as you advance through the levels of initiation. Sometimes, though, we fall victim to our own secrecy. Some members delve too deeply into their research, or wander into dangerous places, and that often leads to trouble. The weirdness, of course. We know it's the source of all creation in Avalon, but not everyone can handle it. People fear the weirdness, so the weirdness creates nightmares. When we reach the primal source, the spark of life, we hope to tame it enough that it's no longer a threat. I only hope the other members haven't forgotten that this is our mission. Sometimes there are misunderstandings about our leaders' orders, and that can end badly. Experiments that spiral out of control. or a misinterpretation of the meaning of life itself. Sometimes it's both. You'll understand in time. But first, I'd like you to do some reconnaissance for me. Consider it a warm-up. So, what's your choice? We have a valuable member, a researcher of the weirdness named Eckhart from Connacht. A very wise man. I have my own mission to complete, so finding out why he hasn't contacted us falls to you. I'll mark his workshop on your map. If something unfortunate has happened to him, at the very least, recover his research. Let's meet at the statue of the Morning Harpist in Connacht.
Not much. I never encountered one myself, but I heard stories about them. Mistbearers, like most creatures on this island, emerged from the weirdness. They were always drawn to magic. The druids believed they fed on it in some way. Merlin forbade his apprentices from hunting them. Druids were too valuable to our war effort to be distracted by such pursuits, and they were meant to carry on Merlin's legacy should he fall. What became of them after the war, I do not know.
We have company. Changed the moment you're... What brings you here? Good. Very good. I assume you've decided to climb further into the guild's ranks then. Are you ready for your next adventure? It's unrelated to your task, but since you're curious, this is the statue of the Morning Harpist, built in the memory of the twin sisters from the court of Sagramore, the former ruler of Connacht and its lands. Legend has it that one sister killed the other out of jealousy for her talent. They also say that if you camp here at night, you might hear the wailing of the betrayed sister. But with the weirdness so thick, who'd camp here at night? The inn at Connacht is far more welcoming. That's all I know. But if you ever come across the remnants of the royal geographers, they might be able to tell you more. I'd like you to find Caelum and bring me his research. He's a former guild member and a cruel man. He took the idea of life as a form of energy a little too much to heart, and it's made him potentially dangerous. We expelled him and cut him off from our resources, but as you might guess, that didn't slow him down for long. We don't know the details, but I doubt it's anything good or humane. From what I hear, he's gone completely mad and started experimenting on humans. He always claimed it's the only way to unlock the spark of life, but practicing necromancy is, of course, strictly forbidden by the guild. Personally, I'd like to treat him the way he treats his test subjects. That's just my own view on the matter. The guild only wants information on what he's doing. It'd be best if you didn't get yourself killed while gathering it. The owls are hooting that he's holed up in some hut at the swamps. But knowing that lunatic, he won't be doing his experiments anywhere out in the open.
Hello? Who's there? I can feel your presence, but it's always so dark in here. I can't see very well, even when Caelum brings light. Oh, he's not here. I can't feel him anywhere near the house. He must be in the cave. I think he's been there for a while, but I'm not sure. It's hard to keep track of time here. I'm Ely. I used to beg on the streets of Connacht. I hated it. The rain, the cold nights, the eyes that looked past me, the feet that kicked me. This is better in some ways, and worse in so many others. I really miss the sun. He offered me a job, said I could stay at his house. At first I didn't agree. I've had plenty of men offer me jobs, and I wanted no part of that. But he said all he needed was a housekeeper, since he belonged to some important guild and didn't have time to clean up for himself. So I said yes. He gave me a hot meal and a warm drink. Then everything went dark. I remember the floor glowing. When I woke up, I was this. He took some cuttings. It didn't hurt, but it felt strange. Like they were mine, but not mine. Then he waited for the branches to bear fruit. When they finally did, the fruit looked like it was born dead. He took it. After that, I hardly saw him anymore. The plant in the cave, we're linked. If you destroy it, I'll be free. I'd like to be free again. Not Caelum's, not the plant's, just mine. Even if only for a little while. Not exactly. I've never seen it. Only felt it through the plant. It's vast. But it doesn't seem far away. At least, it doesn't feel far. I'm sorry. I can't explain it any better. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Just be careful with the plant. It always feels angry. That anger, sometimes, I think it took from me.
Your silence carries weight here. What are you looking for? I assume he fell victim to his own pride and tried to make himself immortal. Typical. That man had no sense of self-preservation. He thought life was driving him, but to me, it always seemed like he was racing towards death. I'm glad the matter has been handled. I'll even give you something extra for your trouble. And what about his research? The Forbloom. That's incredible. I'd heard the legends, but this journal shows there's truth in them. And Caelum, for all his madness, might have been right. If we could find the Forbloom, it could change everything. Bring us closer to our goal. Oh, my little baby owl. It's clear you're still learning the ways of a true alchemist. Everyone knows the legend of the Forbloom. It's the origin of all plant life in Avalon. The very seed of the weirdness that gave rise to all life as we know it. Without plants, there'd be no animals, no humans, not even the Fordwellers. And since life tends to guard itself, the Forbloom has its defenders too. The Strawfathers, the Gloom Fronds. All that protects life from the thoughtless destruction by humans. This proves that the seed of the Forbloom could be the pure spark of life we've been searching for. Ah, I see. So it was all for nothing. We need to keep searching. I won't lie, I was as excited for this as a keeper for venison. But after so many years in the guild, I should be used to the taste of failure. What do you care? I am who I am. There's a reason I left the tribe and never joined One Eye. May Mother's strong arm embrace you. There's nothing more for us to do together. It's time for you to spread your wings and follow your own path. And if that path leads you to find Phaidros, then your career with the guild will keep progressing. Last I heard, he'd taken quite an interest in the statue of the great beasts near Quanacht. Strange fascination, even by our standards. And yes, my little owl, you're off to find another mad alchemist. But really, what else did you expect from the Alchemists Guild? We're all a touch eccentric, aren't we? Don't worry about me. I'll focus on my own work. Something tells me our paths will cross again. May Mather's strong arm embrace you.
I'm terribly sorry for all that hassle. I should have taken more precautions. Yes, thank you. Just a bit shaken. The beasts must have somehow escaped during the night. When I woke up, they were already prowling the territory. I bolted the door and sat inside, hoping they'd leave. But, well, it's a good thing you showed up. Otherwise, I'd have had to choose between starvation and being mauled. I lured them. They may be built differently and are quite tough, but most of them still need to eat, and they are susceptible to certain poisons. Their pen, of course. The beasts were my test subjects. I was sure they were significantly weakened and wouldn't pose much of a danger. I must have miscalculated. It's a bit of a shame they're all dead. I'll have to start everything from scratch. After the autopsies, of course. That's an interesting question. Perhaps they've been in captivity long enough to forget the concept of freedom. Or maybe they've claimed this place as their territory. and the only thing that changed was their living conditions. Or perhaps they were just dumb beasts waiting for the closest source of food to leave the house. I suppose we'll never know. Oh, did he? Well, if the guild is so impatient for results, they should have sent someone sooner. Now all my beasts are gone, and I'm still missing a crucial ingredient. You see, weird beasts are unique creatures. The spark of life they carry is as twisted as it is relentless. I believe it can be extracted and transferred, creating a being capable of living in the weirdness without succumbing to its corruption. With everything that's been happening on Avalon, I believe this is the only way we can survive. The pigs can already do that. Well, yes, but they hardly escape disfigurement and corruption, do they? Besides, they only skirt the edges of the weirdness. They don't dwell deep within the fog. If I succeed, humans will be able to live in the weirdness freely, no matter how dense it becomes. The heart of a Fae. Well, the Fae, to be precise. I'm not interested in the heart of some half-feral beast from the host. I need something far more powerful. I've heard of a Fae that calls itself Foxglove. It dwells in the roots of an ancient tree, lurking for unsuspecting travelers. Supposedly, it's cunning and quite vicious. If you bring me its heart, you won't just be doing me a favor. You'll be aiding all of Avalon. They are powerful beings that seem to only half belong to Avalon. They have their own realm, and don't appear to care much about the weirdness. They are a missing piece of the puzzle, I think. I may be wrong, but every theory must be tested, shouldn't it? Me? Of course not. I'm just a scientist. I doubt I'd have survived such an encounter. I've only heard rumors. They might be exaggerated, of course, but I wasn't going to risk my life just to satisfy my curiosity. Splendid! I assure you, if everything goes as planned, the guild will hail us both as heroes.
My, what a lovely mortal he sent my way. Such a silly man, that Phaidros. Does he truly think I can't tell one of you from another? I can smell him on you. The sharp stench of fear and the desperation of a mortal who knows his time is running out. And that cloying trace of hope. As if he truly believed some poor soul could rescue him from the mess he's made. All his putrid human weaknesses cling to you like you're his last lifeline. It's truly pathetic. But of course, you could even say we're quite close. After all, I granted him his greatest wish. And in return, he promised me a small piece of his sad, mortal life. Only now it seems he's trying to weasel out of the deal. It's a bit insulting, don't you think? Mortals. I should have known better than to trust him. He swore to leave Avalon for 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days to serve me in my domain. Exactly! I can't understand why he's making such a fuss. Time here flies by so quickly. Unlike in the court, where a year can feel like a century. Oh, maybe he's not as foolish as I thought. Knowledge, of course. A lofty dream of saving Avalon by filling it with monstrous beings. On the one hand, it sounds delightful. On the other, it's a bit of a waste. You see, in my realm, mortals can live as long as we wish them to. A few adjustments here and there, and they can serve us indefinitely. Yet you mortals always believe that death is your escape. Even though we tell you time and again that a deal once made cannot be unmade. Phaidros thought it could work on Avalon too. He was only half right, which is why his results turned out rather beastly. Well, you take a creature that shouldn't be alive, yet is, and you combine it with the human spark that has such a relentless drive for survival. The results are quite curious. Part beast, part human. Overall nothing that should ever grace this realm. Or any other, really. But he kept trying, that fool, and kept returning here, ranting that I tricked him and trying to break the deal. I gave him the knowledge he craved. Nothing more, nothing less. How he used it? That's not my responsibility, is it? They were misery given form, driven by instinct and rudimentary intelligence. So, who knows? Maybe they were just regular mortals after all. Oh, my poor sweet thing. That's just how mortals are. They use, they lie, and they'll do anything to save their own skin. Now, don't fret. I don't blame you for falling for Phaidros' little ruse. In fact, how about we make a deal? How about I give you a little something, and you take it straight to his hidey hole? Then he can bear the consequences for trying to fool us both. What do you say? Oh, I see. Phaidros is being quite the foolish man, thinking he can hide from me. Well, truth be told, he is succeeding at the moment, but I am nothing if not patient. Still, when an opportunity presents itself, it would be foolish not to take it. Oh, wonderful. Here, take my eye. Bring it straight to Phaidros. And don't worry, I'll know when you're near. He'll be dealt with swiftly, and your reward will be waiting. Now, run along, little mortal. You killed him! How could you? He was mine to punish, mine to torment. We had a deal!
I'm sorry, but Phaidros misled you. He belonged to the guild, which means his life and his services weren't his to give away.
What? That can't be true. I never saw any of his supposed masters with him.
That's because he escaped our supervision and has been hiding from us ever since. Any deals he made in that time are void, and the punishment for disobedience is death.
I see. You mortals are crueler than I thought. You. Did you know about this? Of course not. Just once I'd like to meet a mortal who's not completely useless. Reward? What reward? Phaidros is dead. The deal is off. I'm done dealing with mortals. With any luck, you'll all be dead in a century or so.
So, you're the one Phaidros dragged into his madness. Apologies for the mess. I'm in the middle of cleaning up. I'm Alma, the alchemist. Pleased to meet you. I won't deny, I'd have preferred to meet under much more favorable circumstances. I feel a bit like I've been caught at the scene of a crime, which, in a sense, I have. Although, in my defense, if we're speaking of crimes, this one is twofold. Phaidros' reckless experiments had to be stopped. The Guild warned him repeatedly that he was crossing the line. Unfortunately, yes. The rules of our guild are clear. Crossing the established boundaries results in consequences, and those consequences grow more severe with greater transgressions. It's not like he wasn't warned. He knew exactly what he was doing and the risks involved. Believe me, taking measures like this brings me no joy. But we can't keep constant control over everyone. There are certain acts that simply cannot be forgiven. Phaidros was a threat, not just to himself and the Guild, but to others as well. I'm sorry it had to come to this. First, I need to finish cleaning up here and prepare Phaidros for a proper burial. I'll also secure the rest of his research and materials to ensure they don't fall into the wrong hands. And then I'll have to write a report. Ugh, I hate paperwork. There are so many better ways to spend my time. And then we'll talk about your next assignment. Now, that's better. Shame our meeting had to be under these circumstances. Believe me, not all alchemists act like Phaidros. You seem all right, though. Charles's calm demeanor confirms that. Tell me, what made you join the Guild? A big deal. Very lofty. But be careful, all right? Knowledge and its pursuit can come with a price. At some point, one might take just one step too far and uncover secrets that were never meant to be revealed. But I think you'll manage. So, what do you need? Charles is my Croakmore, though he's far from a typical specimen of his kind. He won't bite your hand off, unless, of course, he senses ill intent. At the moment, he trusts you, which is rather uncommon. I wouldn't call the process taming. It was something different. Let's say it involved a more invasive intervention. I found Charles just after he was born, abandoned by his mother, so I took him in. It was the perfect chance to examine his brain. While working on his exposed skull, I had to disrupt the areas responsible for his sense of belonging and aggression. If this were a question, I would say it's a valid one. To be honest, I don't know the exact answer. I assume it all depends on perspective. If we accept that the brains of living beings are a kind of biological mechanism, then perhaps I managed to redirect the function of that mechanism so that it operates based on different needs and perceives its place in the world differently. Yes, that seems likely. Lately, situations like this have been happening far too often. Some alchemists within our ranks are starting to rebel. Or they're coming up with utterly ridiculous ideas. I really hope this doesn't become a recurring pattern. To answer your question, unfortunately, yes, it was necessary. The rules of our guild set clear boundaries. Crossing them results in a response from us, one that becomes more severe the greater the transgression. That's my role. Let's just say I'm a sort of guardian of alchemical ethics. But more seriously, I was assigned to this task. Apparently, I'm the best at playing nanny to misfits like us. All I understand is that it's a form of ancient magic, supposedly discovered by Merlin, who used it to repel the weirdness. A menhir with burning weird fire can repel the weirdness on a far larger scale than a simple bonfire fueled by ethereal cobweb. Unfortunately, that's everything I know. As an alchemist, these are mysteries far beyond my knowledge or expertise. The hierarchical structure of the regular Camelosian guilds isn't something we strictly adhere to in the Alchemist Guild. Each of us has freedom in our research, as long as we don't violate ethical guidelines. It's hard to say. While we share a guild, not all of us keep in regular contact. Many members aren't as open about their affiliation as I am. They have their own lives and obligations, some of which might be highly conflicting. I'm trying to conduct field research, but the last few weeks have been exceptionally frustrating. I lack the necessary specimens, and I'm not exactly equipped to gather them myself. I'm skilled with a lancet, not a sword. I heard you're trustworthy. But first, a warning. The task I have for you is unpleasant and messy. It involves extracting brain matter, but before you even get to that part, you'll need to risk your life to get close enough. I need brain centers from 3 creatures. A Nookalivi, a human infected with the Red Death, and a villager touched by the weirdness. I've heard stories about peasants on farmlands near Kunacht. They were unlucky that the Menhir stopped protecting the place where they lived. I'll reward you for each of the 3 brains, as long as they're intact. A bloody pulp is better suited as a snack for Charles. Each one ties into my field of study and interests. The Nookalivi is the result of the Red Priest's experiments, likely involving the weirdness. As for the afflicted humans, I suspect significant brain alterations occur during contact with the weirdness, as well as in the final stages of the Red Death. The Red Priests have written studies, but I'd like to see for myself. Until next time. Oh, the brain of a truly unique creature, though I do pity its existence. The conflict between such opposing instincts must be such a torment. Nookalivi are hybrids created by the Red Priests, certainly a cross between redcaps and goats. Though other animals were likely involved in the experiments. Regardless, thank you. I'm glad you came out unscathed. Here's your payment. Thank you. I trust you took the necessary precautions. The plague is known for its high contagion rate. I must admit, this is an important moment for me, for various reasons. I will soon begin the brain examination. Thank you again. Poor soul. I only hope his consciousness completely vanished, sparing him any awareness of this nightmare. Since the weirdness began to re-emerge, cases like this have sadly become more common. Thank you. I hope that through these studies I can better understand the connection between our biology and the weirdness. So, it seems we're almost done. But I must ask for your help with one last matter. Before we met, I made contact with Dalriata trappers who agreed to get me the brain of an ice weaver. Out of their group, only 2 survived. Let's just say they've been making some threats. I need you to go to the exchange for me. Can I count on you? We initially planned to meet in a location I could easily access, but after what happened to their folks, they've made some specific demands. Here's the location and the gold I promised them for the task. Don't try to negotiate. The amount has already been agreed upon. Once it's done, find me. I'll be nearby. However, I'd prefer not to attend the meeting. It might unnecessarily escalate the situation. Until next time.
Look, Heledd. The alchemist's little lady sent her lapdog.
Aye.
So, dog, speak. Got the gold? Raylan, check it.
Not much.
Not much. You heard him. We lost 3 of our brothers on this job. You think we could just go back to the village and say they died so we can walk away with a handful of coins?
Double it.
Raylan, seems the alchemist's lapdog can snarl.
You've got guts, stranger. Take this stuff and be gone. Let's hope we never meet again.
You did it! Wonderful! I don't think I need to hear the details of that meeting. What matters is that it's all behind us now. I'm deeply grateful. Here's a reward for your efforts. I'll soon begin my more extensive research on the brain centers of all 4 subjects. Oh, and one more thing. You've proven yourself trustworthy, so you'll find a few special items in my shop now. Perhaps something will catch your interest? You've already done so much. Thank you for that. That said, there's one more thing you could help me with. The Guild has been trying to get in touch with Dolf Jonkheer for a while now. He went missing somewhere in the Forlorn Swords. All I know is that he was supposed to be conducting research in the territory of the Sven tribe. We need to make sure he's safe and sound. He's one of the senior members of the Guild, although I didn't see him much. He spent most of his time working in the field. What's concerning is that he went to the Forlorn Swords alone. He's not familiar with the Dalriata tribes, and the situation in that region is unstable. We just hope nothing bad has happened to him. I appreciate it. Once you find him, ask him to provide a report on his research and bring it back to me. I'll pass it along to the right people. Don't worry, there's nothing suspicious about this. It's standard practice. Every member of the Alchemist Guild is required to submit these reports from time to time. Until next time.
That's me. It's true. It's been a while since we last communicated. She must be wondering what's been going on with me. Well, she'll have to forgive me. My current work is far more important than my obligations to the Guild. That might sound arrogant, but it's the truth. Kind that could be a breakthrough for humanity's survival on Avalon. You really think Camelot can protect Avalon's people from the looming weirdness? I think so too. And it's not just their disorganization or corruption. It's their physical frailty. But I can change that. You see, the Dalriata are far superior specimens of humanity compared to anyone else on Avalon. I'm trying to isolate the essence of that superiority, both physical and spiritual. The formula I'm developing could transform humanity, making all people as strong and resilient as the finest Dalriata, resistant to the weirdness. Perfect. In the face of the looming catastrophe, should I care about cost? That's nonsense. The time for tallying costs is long behind us. Now we must focus on how to become strong enough to survive, not on the weak, who will perish anyway. Will you help me with this? To create my formula, I need a substance that acts as... I won't get into the details. I need the slime of a giant snail. You can find them here in the Forlorn swords. Of course, you won't get the slime without a fight, but I have a feeling that won't be a problem for you. Excellent. The sooner you complete this task, the sooner I can get back to work. Remember, what we're doing here will be remembered in Avalon's history. Though, of course, the greatest reward is knowing you've contributed to a breakthrough that could change Avalon. Speaking of which, would you like to contribute? A little bit more? You've proven yourself capable and resilient, which makes you an ideal candidate for something far more valuable than mere coin. The snail slime you brought me needs to be tested in conjunction with my formula. A distillation of Dalriata essence I've been perfecting. Simply stand against that wall there. One small injection, and you could become stronger, faster, maybe even resistant to the weirdness itself. Others might balk at such an opportunity, but I suspect you possess the vision to recognize greatness when it's offered. Now, shall we proceed with making history? Ah, how predictable. The truly visionary are always dismissed by those who lack imagination or courage. The injection will only take a moment. Any discomfort will be temporary, I assure you. A small price for the transformation that awaits. The Dalriata's strength flows through this formula. Soon it will flow through you as well. Hold still now. Ah. You're awake at last. Good. I was beginning to worry the sedative was too strong for even your constitution. I apologize for the accommodations. Locking you up was necessary. The process of creating the essence requires absolute precision. No interruptions. The Dalriata around you, they didn't survive the extraction process. A regrettable necessity, you understand. When their blood flows through... Here in my laboratory, It gained meaning.
What? Let me see those notes. Dolf, you deranged, twisted old man. I apologize. I'm just a bit shocked. I knew Dolf had unconventional ideas, but this goes far beyond what I ever imagined. There's something seriously wrong in our guild. Thank you for bringing this to light. Given how much you've helped us, I think it's time for you to meet Heledd. There's no point in explaining too much now. You'll see soon enough. Just know Heledd embodies everything the Guild stands for. That's all.
It's good to finally meet you. Alma and Taranis have sent me reports about your progress. Thank you for dealing with the troublemakers in our guild, though I wish your introduction to us had been under better circumstances. I'm surprised you've even heard of that term. The Druids have always been very thorough in preventing our existence. Now that they're gone, I assumed that knowledge was lost. But yes, I am the head of the guild. And don't worry, I'm perfectly fine like this. Knowing what I might become, Dryads have always been a particular interest of mine. The curse couldn't have chosen better. Yes, a very old, very persistent one. Born of something abhorrent, I believe. It's carried and sustained across the land by the weirdness. I doubt we'll ever trace its origins. I've spent most of my life researching its possible causes, and this is the only explanation that fits, despite what some druids might have thought about the so-called feminine weaknesses they harped on about. The guild was founded long before I became a dryad. Trust me, I spent my entire career preparing for this eventuality. I built this place, gathered like-minded people, and only then entered the ritual circle. Becoming bound to this place wasn't a problem. It was an opportunity. For further research, of course. I'm not sure how much you know about Dryads, but we are as bound to a place as it is bound to us. I perceive things differently now, in ways I never could when I was flesh and blood. My connection to nature is far deeper than any druid could dream of. We are surrounded by boundless energies, and I feel their currents flowing through every creature, every plant around me. It's made me realize how much there is still to discover, and how uniquely positioned I am for the exploration. Well, my form might be surprising. After all, if you ask any druid, a dryad is a failure. But to me, it's a step in the right direction. You see, a dryad forms when a female druid is unable to complete her rite of passage. Sadly, it happens more often than not. But this has always been a personal fascination of mine, so I came prepared. I was fairly certain, yes. This curse, for I do believe it's an ancient curse on the land, is nearly impossible to avoid. There have been rare cases where a Ban Druid was born instead of a Dryad, but those are exceptionally uncommon. It's better to prepare for the most likely outcome than gamble on the rarest one, isn't it? I decided not to see being bound to this place as a burden, but as an opportunity. It's not that bad. You were unfortunate enough to witness us at our worst, that's true. But such cases are rare, and we deal with them swiftly. Our goal is noble, but it can sometimes attract questionable individuals. Extracting and manipulating the spark of life sounds lofty and almost godlike. Some people take it to heart. A little too much. Ah, I'm glad you asked. You've arrived just in time to witness our crowning achievement. You see, the propaganda about druids using human sacrifices in their rituals was not entirely unfounded. It wasn't something they did constantly, but it did happen on occasion, and the results were incredibly powerful. It allowed them to manipulate the weirdness in ways that were previously impossible. The force of creation, combined with the pure potential of the weirdness, created limitless possibilities. But the cost was too great for anyone with even the most basic of morals. Yes, I don't believe in necessary evils, or that the ends justify the means. We desperately need a breakthrough in mastering the weirdness, but I vowed to find a different way. A better way. Being what I am has given me a unique ability to peer into the very energies that drive us, and what I uncovered is this. Human life is simply a form of energy. It is unique to us, and as I said, extremely potent. But it is still just energy. That means there must be a way to replace it with a more humane substitute. Why? It doesn't take anything away from your humanity. Your life force may drive you, but it doesn't compel you to do anything. Except survive, I suppose. It's a spark that makes you who you are. But what you do with it is entirely your choice. I believe so. In fact, that's one of the reasons I asked you here. After all the trouble we've put you through as a new member, I feel you've earned the privilege of seeing the fruits of our labor. Go on, take a look. It's just behind these doors. And what do you think? Impressive, isn't it? We don't. Every component was obtained in strict accordance with the Guild's code of conduct. Using the power granted by my unique condition and the weirdness, I created a life force entirely of my own design. Completely artificial. I infused that life into the creature. And now, here it is. Our very own living construct. That's the interesting part. It actually does. Perhaps our form defines us more than we realize. Not the details, though. It doesn't even have all the usual organs. Just a heart, a brain, lungs, and a liver. The liver was crucial for some reason. Don't be vulgar. Of course not. Necromancers don't create anything. They merely toy with residual energies lingering in the dead. I didn't raise something that was once alive. I created life itself, from nothing. How so? Ah, I understand. A bit like a distorted mirror, isn't it? It's almost familiar. and yet you can tell it's not how it should be. Good. That's the reaction I was hoping for. I've been considering conducting the ultimate test. I've discovered that a dryad can be freed from the place she's bound to by completing the ritual with a human sacrifice. Obviously, that was never an option. But now, I have access to energy that should be equivalent. If it frees me, it will mean we've succeeded. The energy has to be released, yes. But it's not truly alive like you or me. So perhaps destroy is a better term. You have been vital in ensuring our guild runs smoothly once again. So I thought that perhaps you would like to do the honors. Oh, I could, of course. But wouldn't it be fitting for your official admission to the guild to be marked by something so monumental? You've seen this guild at its lowest. But this is what we've been working toward. What I'm offering you is an honor, one I believe you've earned. No, the chamber is ready for the ritual. You may proceed whenever you're ready. It worked! I'm free! And the power coursing through me is truly astonishing. I was right. All these years of searching have finally yielded the results I hoped for. No, of course not. It only means that its life energy was equivalent to that of a human. It worked exactly as it was supposed to. You can stop worrying now. This truly is the beginning of a new era. Not only for us, but for all of Avalon. Now, I welcome you to the Guild as our newest member. Our doors will always be open to you, but I believe you have your own path to follow. Just be mindful that from now on, you are part of something greater. Whatever decisions you make, do not forget what it means to be an alchemist.